In continuing my response, this is Muhammad with faithmadesimple.org, and continuing my response to the Epicurus statements, I do want to say that this life that we have that lasts for 60 or 70 years on average is not one that is extra special in terms of God. Now why do I say that? Why do I say that this is like a disposable life, so to speak? If I were to take 5 minutes out of your day, and if you've watched both videos, I've taken, 15, 20 minutes of your day, you don't look back at that as a major loss. 1 minute is not a major loss. 2 minutes, not a major loss. In the terms of your lifespan, so to speak. This life that happens here on earth, that we live for our 60 to 70 years or so, some longer, some shorter, is not, doesn't hold any weight with God as terms of being something extra special, significant. Now, before I get the whole sadistic statements and all this other stuff, this life is a test to see if you're going to do your primary job. Now, if you are an employer and you hire a typist, so to speak, I didn't hire you for anything other than typing. And then this person goes for it, and they do all kinds of things. They paint the walls, they clean the floors, they scrub the toilets, they cook food, they do all kinds of things. All kinds of things under the sun made, to man. And you didn't hire them for that. That's not their job. That's not their job description. They're supposed to type. That's all that you need them for. You've got volumes of stuff that needs to be transcribed, and you need them to type. But they don't. They don't type. They just they do whatever, And at the end of the day, you're gonna have to decide. Well, gee, I'm gonna have to fire you. You're a great worker. You're awesome. You're stupendous. Whatever. However, that's not the job that I hired you for. So I'm going to have to let you go. And that's the whole I'm a good person argument that people give in terms of God. And then the next thing that comes is angst. Well, I don't understand why, if I'm a good person, I've come into this company, I've cleaned the toilets, I've done this and I've done that, and I've done X, Y, and Z. I've shined the boss's shoes, I've done, I've, fed the pigeons on the windowsill, I've done all these things. Do I need to get fired just because I didn't type? Yeah, you do. Because that's the job that you were sent here to do. You were sent here to type, and you didn't type. So I'm going to have to let you go. That's the whole religious, non-religious argument. In essence. You know that this life isn't that really mean that much in reference to God, because it's shared equally. if you are, if you decide to live out your days running through the countryside, lopping off babies' heads, you're still going to get air, you're still going to get water, the sun is still going to shine on you. All of these good things are going to happen. They're all going to be available to you. You can still go to the finest restaurants and eat the best food. You can do whatever you wish to do as a baby killer. You have the freedom to do that. If you are, the most holiest of holy people, going around doing everything, every single thing that God asked you to do, you're still going to get the same sun, the same air, the same water, the same ability to go to the finest restaurants and eat the best food. That's just the case. That tells you that this life is not the real thing. That this life is not what God is concerned about. God is concerned about performance on this life. Worship performance. Are you going to worship? Everything else is going to be taken care of after that. But on this life, for these 60 years or so, you're at a worship performance test. And you can enjoy everything else in life. You can enjoy your children. You can enjoy your business. You can enjoy food. You can enjoy everything else. I mean, just look at life. Every human being is given 24 hours. And every human being, regardless of who they are, can only consume so much stuff. You can only enjoy so much stuff in a 24-hour period. I don't care who you are. If you're Bill Gates, there's only so much food you're going to eat. There's only so much sex you're going to have. There's only so much fun that you could fit into 24 hours. And even if you did it day after day after day after day after day, if you did it day after day after day after day, it would become old and boring. But every human being is afforded that. Is afforded that capacity, regardless of whether they're Charles Manson or Hannibal Lecter, or if they're Gandhi. It doesn't it doesn't really matter. This life is not what matters. And then what happens is people get upset at what happens next when it does matter. What matter comes after this life, as professed by many faith groups as the real deal that comes after this life. What comes after this life, from an Islamic standpoint, is Judeo-Christian standpoint, Judeo-Christian Islamic standpoint, is the whole hellfire situation. Okay, you didn't work your test correctly. Now, in this stage of your life, the baby killers are not going to get water. They're not going to get sunshine. They're not going to have peace. They're not going to have a good night's rest. They're not going to have all of these comforts of this life. They will burn. They will do X, Y, and Z. And now all of the atheists and non-believers have a problem with that. Does that make any sense? How does it not make? How does that? How, when the true reality comes into play, is it now a problem? This life is not the true reality. This life is only a passing test that really only lasts seconds of your existence.